Hello, I'm Mike Giardini.
And I'm Craig Boschman. Welcome to a special edition of the Sports Wire from Peterborough, where it's Hockey Day in Canada.
The CBC is broadcasting the day-long celebration of our favorite pastime, including 4 NHL games featuring all 7 Canadian teams.
The centerpiece of the event is the 3rd annual Under the Lock tournament. More than 60 minor league teams and over 1,000 players. Andrew Mendler has the story.
For the past 4 years, the Peterborough Minor Hockey Association has hosted the Under the Lock Outdoor Hockey Tournament. This year, the tournament is on a bigger stage, Hockey Day in Canada. Tournament organizer Dave Smith says this is an experience most kids dream about.
Think back to when you were 8 years old, close your eyes, imagine playing road hockey with your friends, all of your hockey heroes. Open your eyes and here you are on the canal, and we've made that reality for you. You've got Wendell Clark, Lanny McDonald, Darcy Tucker, Mark Napier, and they're here for you.
The tournament consisted of players in 8 different divisions, spanning from 7 to 17 years old. It didn't matter their age, every player was excited to be outdoors.
What do you think playing on the outdoor rink like this?
Awesome.
It's really cool. It's a good experience, and it's just a lot of fun.
So what do you think of your first game out here on this rink?
It was good. Got a bit chippy, over in the corners, people shoving you. Gonna fight, obviously, job of the scrapper. We sniped some Genos, beat them 4-0. Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
While playing outside is a great experience, it does pose many different challenges, such as having to clean the ice off in between games. This referee found himself an easier way to do it. The lack of bench seats was a minor issue for the West Hill Golden Hawks Bantam Selects. Captain Nicholas Moreno says the snowbanks caused him some trouble.
If the puck goes in too deep, you can't really get it out. It's kind of hard, and there's no boards, and we're used to playing like that, so it's a little bit difficult.
Marcel Govro says seeing the puck was also an issue.
Like the sun gets in your eyes, you can get blinded. You don't really get to see the puck harder, or it's harder to see the puck.
Golden Hawks head coach Dan Hoffman says his team had to adjust to the conditions.
You can't bank it off the boards. The back is flat, so it's a little bit of getting used to, but overall the kids come accustomed to it, and I think they'll do well as the tournament goes on.
There are 63 teams in 8 different divisions, all battling for championships. But for one team, winning isn't everything.
The Port Perry Adams Select team turned heads on the ice in Peterborough, and it wasn't because of their play. The team covered their jerseys in sticks and pink tape. Jack Yao explained why.
Because it's for bullying, and we don't believe in bullying.
Predators head coach Liv Timon came up with the idea.
It's a great opportunity for us to come out here as a team, represent Port Perry, and at the same time add that in and let the kids learn a life lesson.
Timon says that the fact that they were going to play in front of a national audience didn't even factor into her decision.
We were only doing a couple tournaments this year, and so just trying to get them out, get them to represent and make a statement. But being out here, I never really thought about, the media attention or anything like that. But I think we're just showing as a team that we're out, we're good people.
The only complaints made from both players and coaches had to do with the cold, a chilly minus 13 degrees. This posed the question, where would you rather play, outdoors or indoors?
I like both, I guess I could say. There's a lot of cracks in the ice, so I guess inside is a bit better.
Are you enjoying your time playing outdoors?
Yeah, it's a little harder than indoors, a little bit ruggeder.
It's really fun. I like it a lot more than playing in a cold arena than playing out here on the pond.
I think the kids loved it. Yeah, Yeah, you know what? Living in Canada, we all experience the outdoor rink. And if you haven't, well, now you have, right?
From the great responses he got, Smith hopes to consider the event a success.
Well, our hope is that at the end of the day, these kids come forward to their parents and they say it was the greatest day of their life. If they can say that, it's been a success.
It's been a busy day so far here at the Under the Lock tournament in Peterborough, and as you can see, we're still going strong. From all the people I've talked to, they all agree the ice isn't great, but the experience playing outdoors is. At Hockey Day in Canada, I'm Andrew Mendler for the Sports Wire.
Welcome back to Hockey Day in Canada. Me and Mike aren't the only ones who are here today, so let's send it down to Lane Sador and Brett Smith for a TV timeout. Lane?
Thanks, Craig, and welcome to the first TV timeout of the show. We're at Hockey Day in Canada. I'm Lane alongside Brett, and what better way to bring in Hockey Day in Canada than to talk about our favorite childhood hockey moment. What's yours, Brett?
Well, I'm going to go back to the 2002 gold medal game, United States, Canada, and some might say it was the 50-year gold medal jump for Canada. It was me watching it at my buddy's house with his dad and all his friends. What happened was every time that he looked away, Canada would score. Whenever the Americans would score, that's when he'd be watching the TV. So his dad pretty much said, you can't watch this game anymore. He missed every great goal, especially the Lemieux one. So it just always makes me laugh every time I think about that one.
Yeah, I remember that game very well. We had a hockey game that night, and we actually postponed the game for about 30 minutes because we were all watching it in the lobby. It was very, very exciting. But for me, my favorite childhood moment comes because I was a Stars fan as a child. So the very infamous or famous goal in the crease. Brett Hall foot in the crease. That would probably be my favorite childhood moment. I was screaming as a child. My team had just won the Stanley Cup. I jumped into my dad's arms, and it was amazing. So that was probably my favorite childhood hockey moment.
But his foot was in the crease?
No. And that will do it for the first TV timeout of the show. We'll be back later on. Back to you guys.
The city of Peterborough couldn't be happier to be hosting Hockey Day in Canada. Not only does the national broadcast shine the spotlight on the city of 75,000, it also celebrates the game Canadians consider their national pastime. Mike Kelly has the story.
On Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada, here's another river of dreams just off the Otonabee, which runs through the heart of downtown Peterborough. We're on the Trent Canal, part of the beautiful gateway to the Kawartha.
The city of Peterborough is on the national stage on CBC's Hockey Day in Canada. Fans that came down to the lift lock on the Trent Canal got the chance to see some former NHLers and the Stanley Cup. Fans had the chance to get their picture taken with the cup. Fans also got the chance to line up outside the warming zone tent and get autographs from these players. Former NHLers Landy McDonald, Steve Larmer, Mark Napier and Darcy Tucker were all on hand throughout the day, playing some shinny. Napier says it's pretty big for Peterborough.
Well, I think it's so big for a city like this. You know, they've the whole town's kind of embraced it. You know, the people that are out today for this, and you know, for us playing outdoors on the canal has been a lot of fun today. So you know, I think the sense of community, you can just tell it that the people have all come together and they've done a great job.
Napier also enjoyed being able to get on the outside rink again.
The snow's getting a little thick, and so Lanny McDonald and myself pulled the shovels out and started snowing, but yeah, it was like we were 7 or 8 years old again. I know the kids don't do it a lot now, but you know, we grew up playing on outdoor ice and getting our buddies together and getting shinny games going, and every Saturday, Sunday during the winter, that's all we did, and was play hockey outdoors, so brings back a lot of fond memories.
Fans came from all around the area to see the activities going on throughout the day, including 63 teams that came to play in the outdoor pond hockey tournament. They also had the chance to walk through the Toronto Maple Leafs dressing room that had stalls of Maple Leafs legends like Johnny Bower and Daryl Sittler. Fans really like what this kind of event does for the community.
I'm a born and bred Peterborough guy, Bruins fan obviously. Don Cherry will always be a Bruin to me. But no, this is absolutely amazing. Peterborough is just the hockey, it truly is hockey town.
Oh, it seems huge. Seems to be lots of people here. I just saw Ron McLean standing over there. That's awesome, and you know, it should be a good day. I think it's look at the weather. You couldn't ask for a better day.
I think it's an awesome opportunity for the city of Peterborough, not only for tourism, but to show off our hockey prowess.
Hockey Night in Canada host Ron McLean was at the canal for the day, broadcasting live before moving to the Peterborough Memorial Centre, where he met up with Don Cherry. Cherry wasn't at the canal, but it didn't stop some people from dressing up as him for the day. Organizer Dave Smith also likes the community aspect of the day.
Oh, it's huge, not just for the community of Peterborough, but for the kids who are here at this event itself. Where else are they going to see all these hockey legends? Where else are they going to have the opportunity to have the picture taken with the Stanley Cup and be front and center on the national broadcast on CBC?
With such short notice, the city of Peterborough was still able to pull off this huge event.
It was on January 12th that we were awarded Hockey Day in Canada. It's been a whirlwind of activity. We've just been lucky that we've had so many volunteers step up, do all the things that have been asked of them. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to make this work.
With thousands of people on hand to witness this Hockey Day in Canada unfold, it is obvious it will put Peterborough on the hockey map for the foreseeable future. For the Sports Wire, I'm Mike Kelly, Peterborough.
Welcome back. Now, hockey isn't the only sport that Canadians love in the winter, but we'll have more of that in a minute.
But first, let's throw it to our panel where the guys behind the camera get their chance to shine.
Thanks, Craig. Welcome inside the bullpen, where we discuss the lighter sides of sports. I'm Byron Hackett, joined by Ryan Harding, Chris Mahar, and Chris Lee. Just want to jump right into it, boys. Favorite manager, coach explosion. There's a lot of names out there and a lot of guys who've done a lot of crazy things. John Tortorella in the NHL. Bobby Knight in the basketball ranks of the college basketball. He's done some hilarious things with chairs. Who do you got, Chris?
Well, I'm sort of going to exercise my elder statesman status here, dip back into the 80s. Jim Schoenfeld, coach of the Devils back in the 88 playoffs against the Boston Bruins. His team had just lost 6-1. He had a really famous confrontation with referee Don Koharski where he followed him down the tunnel. The two kind of got into it. Don Koharski goes to the ground. Little controversy over whether he was pushed or whether he fell, but in any event, Jim Schoenfeld got to issue his famous line, "Go eat another donut, you fat pig." And that was caught on camera. That was hilarious at the time, still kind of is. Can still catch it on YouTube. Great moment, sort of defined his coaching career. I love that one.
It's crazy how heated it was down there in the locker room. I'm going to stick with a coach as well in the NHL. I'm going to go with Craig McTavish. He had a great NHL season off the bench, behind the bench, well, you know. And one night, he got really flustered. They were down 4-0 in the Battle of Alberta to Calgary when the Flames mascot Harvey the Hound, who is a 6'6" dog with a 1-foot-long tongue hanging out of his mouth. And McTavish leaned over the glass as the dog was taunting him, he says. I don't know how much a mascot can taunt. Pulled the tongue and ripped it right out of his mouth. And without losing a beat or skipping a beat, threw it into the crowd and acted like it didn't bother him, but I'm sure it did.
You know, from one famous quote to another, mine is Arizona Cardinals coach Dennis Green. His team was up 23-3 in the third quarter, and they blew that game. They totally blew that game. And he goes into the press conference after the game. He's pretty calm and collected, and then all of a sudden he just goes off. He starts screaming, "The Bears are who we thought they were," when we let them off the hook. I thought that was hilarious. I enjoyed every minute of it, and that's my favorite coach moment.
You know what? From one comedic event to another, Philip Wellman not letting somebody off the hook. He's the manager of the AA Mississippi Braves, and he came out and just let the umpire have it. He was complaining about a strike zone that obviously wasn't to his favor, so he ran out when he was tossed and was kicking dirt on home plate, covered it completely, but he wasn't done there as most managers are. He walked out to third base, looked like he was going to take it home. Nope, he threw it into center field, then crawled behind behind the pitcher's mound, picked up a rosin bag, chucked it like a grenade at the umpire, which probably wasn't the best thing to do. And then he picked up second base, threw that into center field, and walked off, flipping the whole crowd and the umpire the bird. What a show he put on. Over 1 million hits on YouTube. He's a YouTube sensation now. He made a name for himself by exploding in that way for sure.
And what point do you think he thought, you know what, this is probably a little bit ridiculous? I guess he thought, you know, I'm getting kicked out of this game, let's go. Let's go out with a bang, I'm going to do it all.
I think when he bit the grenade and was lying down, bit the rosin bag as a grenade and tossed it towards home plate, I think he knew at that point that he was putting on a show and a lot of the people were enjoying it for that sort of moment. From one sort of blunder, I guess, in one sense, to another, player blunders, something that we remember players for that sort of defines their career in a bad way. Chris?
I'm going to go back to the 80s again, and we've already talked about the Oilers-Flames rivalry. Another game from the Oilers-Flames rivalry. Steve Smith, it's his rookie year. He's a rookie defenseman. Late in the game, Game 7 against the Flames, puts the puck off Grant Fuhr's skates, his own goalie, into his own net. Just a horrendous own goal. The guy felt so bad afterwards. The fans were on him. Everybody was on him. But this guy went on to have a solid NHL career. He played 804 career games, won 3 Stanley Cups. He was a very solid player. Unfortunately, he's always going to be known for that goal. It's on every top 10. You'll see it forever. Kind of feel bad for the guy, but he did kind of redeem himself with a good career. But I definitely remember that one.
He was a rookie, and he's gone on record to say that he cried after that game. You got to feel for him. I'm going to go with Tommy Salo, again going back to the Oilers. A bit of a theme here. Tommy Salo had a great career with Edmonton. Kind of underrated, really. He had 8 shutouts one year, followed up by 6. He had a couple 35-plus wins seasons. Can never win the big game, though, which brings me to the Olympics 2002 against Belarus. Belarus shocked the world. Vladimir Kopat, a shot from the blue line, goes in about head height. I mean, he was on the bench when the puck went in. So he shot from the blue line, hit Tommy Salo kind of awkwardly in the collarbone. Puck goes straight up, falls in behind him, and what do you know, Belarus win 4-3. Sweden was favored to win those Olympics. Canada, of course, as we all know, goes on to win against the Americans in the finals. But would have been interesting to see if it was Canada and Sweden.
Topa, that's a name to throw in some sports trivia one day, right?
Some great sports trivia there. Vladimir Kopat, don't forget it.
I'm going 2006, Zinedine Zidane. Last game ever, finals of the World Cup. France, Italy, tied late in the game, headbutts the guy, gets kicked out, will be forever remembered for that moment. The game went into a shootout. His team could have desperately used him. They ended up losing that game. Zinedine Zidane, big blunder there.
Well, from one header to another, Chris, I'm going to talk about Jose Canseco. In May of 1993, he's tracking a fly ball all the way back to the warning track. Ball goes off his head and over the fence. Jose Canseco hit a lot of home runs in his career, but he's not going to remember any of them as much as he'll remember that one that went off his head and over the fence. And Jose Canseco, his career can be defined by that header he put over the fence for a home run.
Not only that, but maybe his Twitter account now.
Yeah, maybe you wonder if maybe the hit to the head caused some brain damage there or something.
He's not quite been right since that one, let's just say that. All right, the wrestling has been taken out of the 2020 Olympics. It's been a sore spot in the last couple of days for a lot of people. Let's talk about the Winter Olympics and what we think of a sport that might be taken out, or maybe a sport you think that should be added. Chris, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to go with biathlon. It's a combination of cross-country skiing and rifle shooting. It's a sport that originated as a military training exercise for Norwegian soldiers back in the 1950s. I don't know if a lot of people watch this. It's not the most exciting sport. There's a lot of, long distance racing, and then they're target shooting for 5 or 10 minutes. It's not something a lot of countries practice, I don't think. It's mostly dominated by Scandinavian countries. I don't think we really need it. It's a bit of a relic. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah, I watched it one time on ESPN 15. It was riveting stuff, but I'm going to go with an addition. I really love the Winter Olympics. I love the Summer Olympics. I never can really tell which one I love more. Both are fantastic. So I'm going to add something. I would like to see some crazy kind of mountain climbing. First one to the top, first one to put their country flag on top of the mountain. How sick would that be? Not Everest or anything crazy like that, but there are mountains there. They ski, so some crazy routes, up the mountain. First one to.
It's not a bad idea. Rock climbing's hugely popular right now. Why not?
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first. Ryan Harding. Surprised me, and I think that's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, as long as they look at safety, I don't see why they shouldn't be added. Now, going back to Chris's combined sport, another combined sport I just don't understand is Nordic combined. Ski jumping and cross-country skiing. Who needs to see who can jump the furthest and race the fastest on flat land? I don't get it. Again, it's dominated by the Scandinavian countries, and it doesn't make sense to me, and that's another one that just needs to get rid of.
I want to go with the sport that should be added. We're all talking about taking things away. I guess you were talking about adding one. But another icy sport that I think they should add is bandy. It's a Russian version of ice hockey, played on a soccer field, frozen over. You got 11 players aside, bigger nets than regular ice hockey. The goalies don't get sticks. Players are using sort of field hockey sticks. and it's so interesting. It's hilarious to watch, and I think that's a sport that Canada could put maybe their B hockey team in against some of the best players in the world, and I think they would definitely succeed. So for Canadians, definitely something to look out for, and I think it's a sport that could definitely make it into the next Winter Olympics.
Yeah, can you imagine Stamkos or Tavares shooting on a soccer net with a goalie with no stick?
Yeah, you got to feel for those goalies. No stick, they're in skates, they've got these little gloves on.
They've got to jump to touch the crossbar.
They actually have to jump to try to save the ball, and it's a street hockey ball, so it's going to hurt if you get hit with it. So you got to feel for those goalies.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside the Bullpen. Thanks for watching. Back to you guys.
Welcome back. This is the second TV timeout of the show. I just finished schooling Brett on the old shooter tutor back there going top cheese.
Really? You're calling the shooter tutor?
I still beat you though.
You weren't going to bring that up.
Yeah, but I still beat you. Anyways, we're going to talk about Olympic sports. The Olympics are about a year away now. And Brett, what Olympic sport would you really like to try?
You know what? I'd really like to try that snowboard cross. Just going downhill as fast as you can. I mean, it looks really dangerous with all the jumps. And the balance and the athleticism needed to do it, I think it'd be just a huge thrill ride to try it.
Yeah, it does look really cool. It definitely seems like it's just like a race to the bottom, right? It's kind of cool. My biggest thing, and I've wanted to try it since I was a kid, it's skeleton. Like, I don't know, there's something about going downhill in like this half tunnel ice thing, and it's just amazing. Like it's just a thrill ride going down. It'd be awesome.
That terrifies me.
Oh, it'd be so much fun.
No, not for me. For you, maybe. For someone to beat me on that thing, maybe, not for me.
Oh, but you'd be going so fast. It'd be awesome.
And that's why it terrifies me.
Oh, it'd be so cool. Anyways, that's it for the second TV timeout. Back to you guys.
While many Canadians spend their winter days on ice, others prefer the snow. Matt Tanner traveled to the Batawa Ski Hill to learn about one of Canada's other winter pastimes.
Located just 20 minutes west of Belleville, the Batawa community in Quinte West has an attraction that draws thousands of skiers from across Ontario. The Batawa Ski Hill has 9 runs and is open Wednesday until Sunday every winter. General Manager Darren Lobb talks about the hill's deep history in Batawa.
The ski hill started back in the 50s, and it started with volunteers from the Bata Shoe Factory, which is the factory you drove by as you came in. At one time it actually employed 2,000 people, and they saw the need for some activity that happened here in Batawa, and they actually cleared the runs that we now have. They put in a rope tow that was run with a tractor motor at the time, and with the help of the factory, they kept things running mechanically and definitely came out and enjoyed winter.
On average, the Batawa Ski Hill attracts over 1,200 pass holders per year. Lobb thinks this is the key to the hill's success.
You need to have your pass holders, and from there, that's where we get the word of mouth, which turns into lift ticket purchasers, rentals, more ski lessons. But they are the key, but also the people buying lift tickets and buying lessons are essential to this business.
The Batawa Ski Hill aims to open before Christmas break every winter and hopes to stay open into the April every spring. While the unpredictable Ontario weather can pose an issue with any outdoor winter activity, for the Batawa Ski Hill, only severe storms can halt the flow of riders down their hills.
The only time we're going to shut down is lightning, because again you're riding on a chairlift that's made of metal, so we can't have people riding on that. If it's raining, we're still open. We do make our own snow. In fact, we put out anywhere from 3 million to 4 million gallons of water per winter. We convert it into snow on the hill. And we wouldn't be able to survive without our man-made snow.
That's good. Come on, I'll race you. Good job, Spencer.
Quinte West is a town of only 46,000, but the ski hill draws people from all over. This is why Lobb believes the ski hill is so important to the local economy.
We've got 75 employees, we've got another 40 volunteers. You think of what that means just in employment-wise, and at the same time bringing people to the community. We will have 30,000 skier visits to our hill in a season. That's a lot of people that's coming through Quinte West and through Trenton, through Batawa, and getting familiar with our area. So it's essential to this community.
Brian Wanamaker is an instructor at the Batawa Ski Hill. He tries to turn the beginner skiers into future competitors and maybe even future instructors. he says balance is the key.
Fundamental part with the skiing is actually their stance and balance portion. And a lot of that involves just being able to get both legs to work together and really be centered in the center of your equipment, because that allows you to move fore and aft whenever you need to. And that's what makes the skiing the easiest for most skiers.
Once a beginner has the ability to balance, there's a series of progressions they must go through to become an advanced skier.
Most people start off with a snowplow is what's known as, and most people have seen that if you've been out to a hill where the skis are in a V shape. Eventually what they do is they just end up parallel, and then once you're into parallel you get into the carving portions and on your edges earlier, and that's where you get into the racing program. The kids pretty much go from one edge set right into another edge set, so it becomes quick and fast.
While the club has not yet produced a national level skier, they have developed a few that have competed at the provincial level. Jamie Stickwood, a worker at the rental facility of the Batawa Ski Hill, says weekends can be the most hectic for the employees.
We got over 100 rentals out, but generally Saturday, Sunday's busiest day.
While the workdays can be busy, they can also be enjoyable.
A lot of fun, like bringing my board every once in a while, tune it up, get to ski, snowboard whenever I want, so it's good.
From competitive skiers to beginners and everything in between, the Batawa Ski Club gives everybody the opportunity to stay active during the winter months. From the Batawa Ski Hill, I'm Matt Tanner, the Sports Wire.
By now you're probably sick of listening to them, but for one last TV timeout, let's send it down to Lane Sador with Brett Smith. Lane?
Thanks, Mike. Well, Brett, it's our final TV timeout of the show, and we're here atop the lift locks in Peterborough, and I know you're not too comfortable with that,
Yeah,
are you?
I do not like heights. I want to get this wrapped up, so let's get this going.
Okay, well, we're going to take it back to when we were kids, and we're going to talk about our favorite Mighty Ducks characters in all three movies. You know, we all know you've watched them.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite character?
You know what? I think I'm going to have to go with Luis Mendoza, the Flash out of Miami, Florida. I mean, he was so fast. He couldn't stop, and you know what, that kind of resonated with me because I was never the best skater. You might even say I don't know how to skate. So that just kind of, you know, I love that about him, that, you know, he made a national team but couldn't skate.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious when you could watch him and bang right into the glass. Hilarious, you know. But I don't know how you could call yourself a Canadian if you can't skate.
I got a passport that says I'm Canadian. So.
Oh, okay, I understand. But my favorite guy comes from the deep South. Dwayne Robertson, the cowboy. The guy is a fiery guy. He's amazing. I love him. I love the cowboy hat. I love the lasso, and he's always pulling the pranks.
Yeah.
He's by far my favorite Mighty Ducks character.
And saving Connie on the boards from the Iceland player, that was, you know, coming off the bench with a rope. They had to make a penalty up for that.
Yeah, hilarious. So that's about it for the final TV timeout. Back to you guys.
Hockey Day in Canada wasn't the only outdoor event taking place in Peterborough. Skiers and snowboarders gathered for Trent University's 5th annual Rail Jam. Brian Reed has the story.
A huge snowstorm caused fits for drivers all across Ontario. For the snowboarders and skiers who came to Trent University for the 5th annual Rail Jam, it was a blessing in disguise. Senior coordinator Blaine Parkin was thrilled with the perfect conditions.
In the past, we've always had to go to arenas to get snow, and it's been so time-consuming. You know, I've been telling people usually we spend around 30 hours a year just collecting snow, going back and forth to arenas and catching all the snow that they got from their Zambonis and stuff. So yeah, this year, you know, it was a real gift. We had a big snow dump on Thursday and Friday there, and then of course today it cleared up and we got this beautiful sun shining down on everyone. So it's great.
The rails were sticky and slow to start, but got faster as the day moved on. The snow made life easier on course designer Shane Hale. It's his 4th year at Rail Jam, and this is the best weather he's seen so far.
Basically, just with the great snowfall that we had, it really helped us out and whatnot. Last year, it was super soupy and whatever, so yeah, it's been phenomenal thus far. We've been having some sound issues and whatnot. Hopefully get these bands back rocking, but other than that, it's grand, man.
Typically at a Rail Jam, the rails are the most popular, but due to the slow conditions early in the day, most of the riders took to the air. They continuously wowed the crowd with big move after big move.
Here at Trent Riverside Rail Jam, we have live music, live skiing and snowboarding, and beer. What more could you ask for?
Trent alum Chris McNally has been going to Rail Jam since it started 5 years ago.
I enjoy snowboarding. I dabble in beer once in a while, so the beer garden's nice. Being an alumni, you know, this is now I can get to come back and enjoy it as someone who's graduated.
Do you think you'll come back next year?
Oh hell yeah! Every year, it's the best.
Snowboarder Logan Wilkins continues to come back as well. This was his 3rd year at Rail Jam.
Well, this is the first year with all the snow, so should be good.
From the fans to the organizers to the riders, everyone is thrilled with the way the Trent Riverside Rail Jam has turned out so far this year.
There was even some local Loyalist talent at the event. Loyalist student Evan Brundage competed.
Way better this year, mostly just because of the snow factor. We actually got quite a dump on us yesterday, so it feels great to actually fall into powder instead of slush.
There were a few stumbles along the way, but sticky rails and slow speeds didn't last for long, as more and more people continued to show up and support the event. Rail Jam continues to grow, and Parkin knows it'll keep getting better and better.
This year we're getting a lot of response though, so hopefully we hit that capacity mark and fill it up and make it a great time for everybody.
Since the event moved from March to February, the winter enthusiasts have come out in droves. From the Trent Riverside Rail Jam, for the SportsWire, I'm Brian Reed.
Well, Craig, we're finally back inside.
I could finally feel my fingers again.
And I can finally feel my face. But sadly, the show is over. So for Craig Boscheman and the rest of the SportsWire crew, I'm Mike Giardini. Thanks for watching.
And I would like to add, follow me on Twitter, at SDFiker, ESTYFIKRE. I love you, Mom. Later.